That's going to be the saddest part of all this, is the fact that people don't let go and they don't change. Look what happened to our world. It's a mess because that's what's happened. People have become just so invested in just money, thinking that's gonna be all they need to do, and they don't care about what happens to anyone else. But they told me that money would have no value. They told me that there was going to be an earthquake, and this hasn't happened yet, but I think it's coming close. They told me there's going to be an earthquake. Hi, I'm Linda Deir, and I'm talking about a near-death experience that I had when I was 20 months old. This was in 1954, and in my family, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. And my mother, every day, the MO was that when I woke up in the morning, she would start screaming and then she'd start beating me. So I was tired of it happening and I knew what to expect every morning. So one morning, I decided to run away. So I went outside to the side gate, and my dog would shake the gate, and I watched him shake the gate many times and run off. And so I went out there and shook that gate. I was only 20 months old, and it opened up, and off I went. I was barefoot in diapers. I ran down the street and got on the median of the expressway looking for my dad. And that's when the police officers found me 3 miles from home. And they picked me up and they asked me where I was going. And I told them I was going to look for my daddy because something was wrong with my mommy. So they took me to the candy store. They asked me to point back how to get back to my house, but I wouldn't point back to my house. I didn't want to go back there. So they took me to the candy store and bribed me with candy so that I would tell them, which actually worked. Okay. I told them where I lived and pointed out how to get back to my house. And when they took me back to my house, my mom opens the door and she was shocked to see me there with two police officers. And she immediately started covering her tracks. She said, "Oh, thank you for bringing her back." And, she was really nice to them as soon as they felt like I was in good hands. Now, this was in the 1950s, so there was no child protective services. So they went ahead and took off. And as soon as my mom knew they were gone, she beat me to death. I mean, I was gone. She took a bucket of cold water, and threw it on me to revive me because she didn't want to get in trouble. And that it brought me right back into this world. And when I came back into this world, I couldn't believe I was back here. I was in so much shock and pain from everything I had been through for 20 months, living like that. I did the only thing I knew how to do, and that was to ask out loud for someone to help me. And when I did that, I'll show you this picture. These guides, these guides showed up all around me. I was sitting, I was on all fours in a puddle of water, that she had thrown on me, looking up at these guides. There was like 10 or 12 of them, and they were energy. They were like, this is energy all around me. I took this photograph of them in 1994 when they showed up at Christmas time, and I happened to have my camera in hand, no accidents. And I took that photograph of them so I could, I don't know. So I had it, and anyway, they showed up all around me and they telepathically communicated to me many things. One of the things they told me is that life will get better for you as you get older if you can make it through childhood. And then they continued to tell me other things about fear, about how it was stifling me, how, just many things about my life, about me, about who I was before I came into this life. And when I was done with that session, with that whole situation there, I was no longer living in fear. I had no fear. No matter what my mother did to me going forward, I was never afraid of her again. In fact, I was on to her. I knew that she wasn't right, and nobody in the family was going to help me. I mean, it was not a good situation, but I had my guides, my spirit guides on my side. And from that point on, they communicated with me all the time. They, I mean, because I wasn't in fear, my mom couldn't destroy me. I had this access to these guides from for anything that I needed. They were my best friends and my life coaches, is what they were. So from that point where from that point on, what I would do is I would go out in the backyard. We had a pretty big backyard, and I'd go in the sandbox and I would talk to these guides. I would cry and play and talk to them, just like as if I was talking to a counselor. And I would intuitively, telepathically get the feedback from them. And I had this ongoing conversation with them going on all the time. That was another reason I was no longer fearful. We are there right now. And what's really going on in our world with all the changes that are going on that are putting people under a great deal of stress is the money issue is one thing, but um, we've leaned too hard on money being the be all end all, the answer. You know what? If you have money, your life will be great. You don't have to worry about a thing. That is so false. What we have to learn to do is get our humanity back. That's what this is all about. That's why these things are happening in our world, is to get our humanity back and stop making money our God. Like, if I have a bunch of money, I don't need to care about anybody. That's a bad attitude. We can't, we don't, we cannot live in a world like that. In fact, look what happened to our world. It's a mess because that's what's happened. People have become just so invested in just money, thinking that's gonna be all they need to do. And they don't care about what happens to anyone else. That doesn't work. And that's the big message about why we're in the world right now, in the mess that it's in. And I don't care where a person lives, it's everywhere now. And we are going to see one heck of a crash. I mean, a financial crash. We might see little ups and, little ups in it, and, little shoots that go up, but boom, it's going to come right back down. Because underneath it all, the spiritual truth about all this is we haven't learned our lesson yet. They talked about in the 1980s, they told me that money would have no value. In the 1980s, they told me that. And I thought, what? Money will have no value. And here we are in a world where, look at the conflict, to say the least, that money's in. I mean, we don't even know if we're going to have currencies anymore. We don't know if we're going to be working with digital money, or or we're going to be going back to the gold and silver standards, or we don't know what you think's going to happen. But they told me that money would have no value. They told me that there was going to be an earthquake, and this hasn't happened yet, but I think it's coming close. They told me there's going to be an earthquake in California, or no, on the west coast of America, that's going to shear off the entire west coast of America. It's going to be such a mammoth earthquake. And they said when that happens, that Japan was going to implode. That means gone. So we're beginning to get a lot of activity with Earth events. We're seeing a lot more of it. So although that hasn't happened yet, it's another one of those situations, just like the money, that they told me I will see it in my lifetime. From my sessions I have with my clients and my work, they just basically said this is just the beginning of the changes that are coming. There's going to be great technological changes. I mean, if you can live 2 more years, we are going to see the most amazing benefits for our health, our well-being, our bodies physically, and our minds. Okay. And there's always a good side and a negative side to things, but mostly this is going to be to our benefit. So the next 2 years, they told me, is going to be one, you know, uh, technological advancement that's so amazing after another, just rolling them out like you can't keep up with them. Okay. And we're right at the beginning of, so that's, I mean, they don't always tell you things that are going to happen that are not good. But when I got that insight about the West Coast of America, I was living on the West Coast. So maybe one of the reasons they told me about that is because of where I was located. I have never received a message, and I've received thousands and thousands of messages where I saw that there was no more hope and that the world was going to end. I've never ever seen that. So I
Mm.
don't think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is humanity is going to get it right this time. But once they're defeated, did you hear that? Defeated. And what I mean by that is defeated by living life the way that they've always lived it before and hanging on and stubbornly hanging on and not letting go, insisting that it's going to be the way that it's always been. That's going to be the saddest part of all this. Is the fact that people don't let go and they don't change. We are having ET contact, okay? That's what that is. That's an energy, that's a light being. Yes, most definitely. Absolutely. And they are here to help us. But they can't step in. They can't interfere with our progress. And I know it doesn't look like progress right now for humanity, but it is progress. More people are awakening. More people are taking the time to first know who they are. It sounds too easy, Mia. It's too easy to get to know who I am. Who cares? It means everything. It means everything. Once you know who you are, only then can you have a true relationship with God, with your guides, with your fellow human being, with the extraterrestrials. They don't want to come here and show themselves because they're afraid they're going to scare you. At the beginning of this interview, the guides showed me this dream where everyone flies off the merry-go-round and dies because they're of fear. My mom, when she killed me and then threw a bucket of water on me and I came back, and the guides come to me and explain to me so many things that I had no fear anymore. This is what the extraterrestrials, this is what they're here to help you with, to know who you are and quit living in fear. That's why money has become so important to people. It protects them. It keeps them from being afraid. It protects them. No, it's not protecting you. It's hurting everybody. That's not protecting you. It's healing and resolving the fear. In order to resolve the fear, so we stop acting like this and hurting each other, we've got to know who we are. It only comes from knowing who you really are. I learned how to do that from journal writing. People call it automatic writing because the guides infiltrate your writing. You start to look back at what you wrote and go, oh my gosh, I didn't write that. Something came through and wrote that. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. It's about getting to know who you are. I'll tell you what, the guides, God, whatever you want to call it, the extraterrestrials, the light beings, they're here right now helping us. But we're over here. We're looking at something else when it's happening right here. We're not paying attention. We don't know how to pay attention. So we remember who we are. Like I did at 20 months old. I remembered it. They make it easy to learn. So that's why I wrote the companion journal to guide it. I don't just talk about these things. I have the workbook to help them with it. In fact, I've got a really great solution for your audience. On my website, Linda Deir, that's Deir, Deir, lindadeir.com. On every page and post on my website at the top is Start Here, Guided Journey. That took me 8 years to build. When you click on it, it takes you to a page where you can select what resonates with you. There's over 500 videos and posts where where my spirit guides talk. Where did I put that? Where my guides talk to you about what you need to do to go about knowing who you are and having this bond, this communication, this conversation with your guides. It's amazing. The guided journey is the feature of the website. It's free. It's free to everyone. When I was done with the guides, I co-created it with the guides. I asked the guides, I said, so what are we going to charge for this? They said, Linda, here it comes, okay? There will be no barriers to entry. This will be free to everyone. They said, you will be rewarded in other ways. Now, I never would have thought that, Mia. I never in a million years, after 8 years of building this, thought that I would give this away. So do you see how this works? It's not always going to go your way, but it's going to go the right way. And it's going to be for more than just me. This is a labor of love. This is giving back. So go to my website. From the website, you can find everything, and you can sign up for my free. I've got something I do for free every Tuesday. You're going to find everything right there. Go through the website. Just click on the navigation bars. You'll find everything. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on X. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on, I'm everywhere. Linda Deir. If you just look up my name in Google or in AI, you'll find me everywhere. And here's the book. I published the book in 2014. It's on Amazon. And it's my true life story about how these guides work in your life and how they're there when you need them. They're there when you ask. That little baby at 20 months old asked out loud for someone to help her. Me. That's how they came to me. I asked out loud for someone to help me, and they showed up. Yes. Thank you for having me. And let me know if I can ever help you. And go to my website, check it all out, and you'll see my services there too. How I work, videos, how I do it, and all that.